Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we will learn about the explosive twists and shocking revelations coming to Salem during the week of October 27th to 31st, where Halloween horror meets devastating secrets that will forever change the lives of several beloved characters. Stephanie's dangerous decision. Stephanie Johnson finds herself at a critical crossroads as she prepares to publicly reveal her identity as the best-selling author Anastasia Sands. The talented PR professional has been hiding behind the pseudonym while her novel One Stormy Night has captured the hearts of readers across the country. But maintaining this secret has become increasingly difficult. Despite her reluctance to surrender the privacy and anonymity she's enjoyed, Stephanie understands that the truth is rapidly closing in on her from multiple directions. The fame that awaits her once the revelation becomes public knowledge fills her with apprehension, as she contemplates how drastically her quiet life will transform when her fans discover her true identity. What makes this situation even more precarious is the potential for dangerous consequences that could follow such an exposure, particularly from individuals who might recognize themselves in the intimate details she wove throughout her manuscript. Jeremy's shadow looms. The specter of Stephanie's abusive ex-boyfriend Jeremy Horton threatens to cast a dark shadow over her newfound success. This situation becomes exponentially more complicated because Jeremy has already been wrongly accused of leaking information about Stephanie's secret identity to Leo Stark, when in reality E.J. DiMera was the culprit who betrayed her confidence. The timing couldn't be worse for Stephanie, who now faces the terrifying possibility that Jeremy might emerge from her past after recognizing deeply personal details from their tumultuous relationship embedded within the pages of her novel. Philip Kiriaki's already demonstrated how easily someone with intimate knowledge of Stephanie's life could connect the dots and unmask Anastasia Sands, which means Jeremy could just as easily make the same discovery. This brewing storm could evolve into a full-blown stalker situation that puts Stephanie in genuine danger, especially considering Jeremy's history of abusive behavior and the likelihood that he won't appreciate how she portrayed their relationship in fiction. EJ's calculated machinations. The cunning and ruthless E.J. DiMera continues orchestrating moves behind the scenes with the precision of a master chess player. Having already exposed Stephanie's pseudonym to the gossip-hungry Leo Stark, E.J. now turns his attention to eliminating another threat that has been lurking in the shadows of Salem. Leo has made the fatal mistake of snooping around the mysterious new hospital wing, and his curiosity has placed a target squarely on his back that E.J. intends to eliminate before Leo uncovers secrets that could prove devastating to the DiMera family. E.J.'s strategic mind is always several steps ahead of his adversaries, and he has additional schemes brewing that will manifest in unexpected ways throughout this turbulent week. The question remains whether Stephanie will eventually piece together that E.J. was the true source of her leaked identity, and what consequences might follow when she discovers this betrayal from someone she works alongside professionally. Abe's controversial mentorship. In a storyline exploring themes of redemption and forgiveness, Abe Carver makes the compassionate yet controversial decision to mentor Liam Selejko through a literacy program at Julie's newly reopened bookstore. This young man carries the heavy burden of a criminal record that includes car theft and a childhood marked by parental abandonment, as both his mother and father spent most of his formative years incarcerated. What makes Abe's choice particularly complicated and emotionally fraught is Liam's troubling history with Abe's son Theo Carver, whom Liam mercilessly bullied throughout their years together at Salem High School. Theo, who lives with autism spectrum disorder, endured relentless torment from Liam and his gang of friends starting in 7th grade, suffering verbal abuse, physical intimidation, and psychological trauma as they waited by his locker to attack him daily. When Theo discovers that his father has agreed to tutor the very person who made his adolescence a nightmare, he feels deeply hurt and betrayed by what he perceives as Abe's lack of consideration for his feelings. The weight of forgiveness. Abe's decision stems from his profound belief that Liam deserves a second chance despite his troubled past, viewing the young man as a victim of systemic failure who was essentially set up for a life of crime due to circumstances beyond his control. This philosophical stance puts Abe at odds with his beloved son, creating tension within their family unit that will need careful navigation and honest communication to resolve. The inevitable confrontation between Liam and Theo looms on the horizon, promising an emotionally charged encounter that could go in multiple directions depending on whether Liam has genuinely changed or remains the same cruel person he was during their school years. There exists the possibility that Liam might offer a sincere apology for the pain he inflicted, seeking forgiveness and hoping to establish a clean slate with Theo as he attempts to rebuild his life on a better foundation. However, Theo's trauma runs deep, and whether he can find it in his heart to accept such an apology remains uncertain, particularly given how fresh those painful memories remain in his mind. Thomas's heartbreak. Young Thomas DiMera continues to struggle with the devastating revelation that Kat Green, the woman his father Chad has been dating, once cruelly impersonated his deceased mother Abigail Devereaux. Rachel Black, in a moment of anger during an argument, exposed this horrifying truth to Thomas, who had been kept in the dark about the full extent of Kat's deception and her connection to his family's tragedy. The psychological impact of learning that someone pretended to be his beloved mother has left Thomas emotionally shattered and unusually withdrawn, concerning both Chad and Julie Williams, who notice his uncharacteristic silence. This week promises to bring Thomas's suppressed emotions to the surface in an explosive confrontation with his father, as the young boy's hurt and fury finally overflow in a dramatic meltdown that has been building for days. Thomas may demand that Chad immediately end his relationship with Kat, unable to comprehend how his father could pursue romance with someone who committed such an unforgivable act against their family and Abigail's memory. Halloween horror strikes. The Halloween celebrations in Salem's town square will take a terrifying turn when Kat Green becomes the victim of a shocking attack that transforms the festive atmosphere into a scene of chaos and fear. This frightening incident occurs as Kat finds herself vulnerable and exposed, possibly due to the mounting tensions surrounding her relationship with Chad and the anger directed at her from multiple quarters. Alex Kyriakis emerges as an unlikely hero during this crisis, arriving at precisely the right moment to intervene and rescue Kat from her attacker in a heart-pounding sequence that showcases his courage and quick thinking. The identity of Kat's assailant and their motivations remain shrouded in mystery, though several suspects emerge given the number of people in Salem who harbor resentment toward her for various reasons. This violent encounter will have lasting repercussions that ripple through multiple storylines and relationships, potentially placing Kat in even greater danger as she realizes someone in Salem wants to hurt her badly enough to launch such a brazen assault. Sophia's mental collapse. The troubled young woman Sophia appears to be reaching a breaking point that may necessitate professional intervention at Bayview's psychiatric facility. Her recent behavior has raised serious concerns among medical professionals, with both Sarah Horton and Marlena Evans convinced that her mental breakdown is genuine rather than manufactured for attention or sympathy. The actress portraying Sophia may be facing a departure from the show, which would explain the narrative choice to send her character to Bayview for extended treatment off-screen. This development adds another layer of complexity to the already intricate web of relationships and conflicts playing out in Salem, particularly given Sophia's connections to various other characters and storylines. Rachel's buried memories. Perhaps the most psychologically intense storyline brewing involves young Rachel Black, whose repressed memories of the night she shot E.J. DiMera are beginning to surface in fragments that alarm those around her, particularly her grandmother Marlena Evans. Rachel's mind has been protecting her from the traumatic reality that she fired a gun at her own uncle and nearly ended his life, employing automatic psychological defense mechanisms to block out memories too painful for a child to process. However, the cracks in this mental barrier are becoming increasingly apparent as Rachel exhibits escalating behavioral problems and obvious discomfort whenever she finds herself in EJ's presence. Her involvement in the scheme surrounding Kat Green and her manipulation of Thomas DiMera to keep Kat and Chad apart may serve as the catalyst that triggers her complete memory recall. The Halloween chaos and Kat's attack could provide the environmental stressors necessary to shatter Rachel's mental defenses entirely, forcing her to confront the horrifying truth of what she did that fateful night. When those memories come flooding back with full force, Rachel will need tremendous support from her family to help her process the guilt, trauma, and psychological aftermath of her actions. Unraveling mysteries. This week promises revelations that will fundamentally alter character dynamics and push several storylines toward their climactic moments. EJ's schemes continue advancing with calculated precision as he works to protect his interests and eliminate threats before they can expose family secrets or undermine his position of power. Stephanie's journey toward public recognition as Anastasia Sands accelerates whether she feels prepared for the consequences or not. With multiple people now aware of her secret identity and the clock ticking down to inevitable exposure, the complicated relationship between Chad and Kat faces mounting opposition from his children and the broader Salem community, testing whether their connection can survive such overwhelming disapproval and the weight of Kat's past deceptions. Abe's mentorship of Liam forces difficult conversations about redemption, forgiveness, and whether people who have caused harm truly deserve second chances even when their victims remain traumatized. The week of October 27th to 31st delivers the perfect blend of Halloween scares and emotional drama that Days of Our Lives fans have come to expect during this spooky season, with life-altering consequences that will echo through Salem for months to come.